everyone, and welcome. Welcome to today's show. And today I'm going to talk about failure or new beginnings. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments below that you're watching the replay. And if you are live, make sure to click the link in the description where you give StreamYard the permission to show your name. So every week when I look for people, when I look for topics, actually, I'm always looking for something which kind of sparks me. And so this week I thought about talking about failure. And failure is one of those things that a lot of us, we run away from. Hi, Sana. Hi, everyone. Whoever is live, just, when you do comment, let me know your name. Hi, Shaheen. Good to have you live. So I was talking with a client the other day, and she is on the verge of closing one of her businesses. And one of the things that she was in was a lot of confusion. She said, if I close this business, then I don't have anything. So when we started going deeper into it, what we realized was that she had this fear of being judged as a failure. So she had this fear of being judged as a failure, and as a result of that, she was not willing to actually close her business. So, how many of you have this fear of being judged as a failure? Let me know in the comments below. Because being judged as being a failure is one of the things that a lot of us are trying to run away from, right? So how many of you are have this fear of being judged as a failure? Let me know in the comments below. So I asked this question in the Facebook group, what does failure mean to you? And I had a lot of really interesting responses to this. And for some people, it brought up a negative connotation. For some people, it was a chance to look at something totally different. Okay, but as long as you look at failure as something bad, something so basically if you're looking at failure as a judgment, then that's what your experience will be. And so you will then go ahead to avoid failure in all circumstances. Like Thomas Edison, he did he worked on things for 1000 times before he developed the light bulb, right? And so when someone asked him, don't you get tired of all this failure? So he said, it's not a failure, it's just another way I know that is not working. So it's given me more information in my work further. Okay, so how many of you so let me ask you this question. What does failure mean to you? What does the word failure bring up for you? Just let me know in the comments below. So what we are going to do is let's release all the information, all the energetic charge that comes up for you when you think about failure. Okay, so everything that the word failure brings up for you, let's release on that. Okay, and I use something called as energetic releases. So I'm going to just release on it. So I will not be speaking in that time, and in that time I'm doing the energetic release. Okay, so everything the word failure brings up for you, let's release on that. And everywhere you are judging you as a failure, let's also release on that. And everywhere, everything within you and outside of you that keeps others judging you as a failure, let's release on that. So as long as failure, the word failure has negative connotations for you, when you hear that word or when you fail at something, you are absolutely and totally going to judge yourself. Okay, so I'm going to run this release a few times, and the reason why I'll run this a few times is because every time I ask you that question, some other aspect is going to come up for you. Okay, so what does failure mean to you? So everything that is, let's release on that. Now, I'd like you to think about one thing that you have failed at. Okay, just any one thing that you have failed at. So, whatever that failure is bringing up for you, let's release on that. So, Shaheen has brought up a really good one. She says, people around me are judging me on the basis of money. I'm not earning money means I'm a failure. Okay, so let's look at you know, everywhere you are judging you as a failure because of money. Let's release on that. So the thing with failure or new beginnings, I've kind of written it like that, but you cannot go to new beginnings if you have a lot of charge around failure. So the first thing you always do is you release the energetic charge around failure. Okay, and everywhere you are being judged by others on the basis of the money that you're not earning, everywhere where others are judging you as a failure because you're not earning money, let's also release on that. And everywhere where success and failure are equated on the basis of money, let's also release on that. So now, look at any one area of your life where which you have quote unquote said is a failure. So it could be like some project where which might be a failure, or it could be like one aspect of your life which might be a failure, whatever it is. Okay, so everything that failure brings up for you, let's release on that. And everywhere you are trying to avoid being judged as a failure, let's also release on that. So once again, what does failure mean to you? So let's release on that. Now, something which popped in my head as I was saying this was this thing of, losers. We call people losers, right? He's a loser or she's a loser. So, when you look at those people, whom are you judging as losers, or if people are judging you as a loser? So everywhere where you are judging people as a loser, let's release on that. And everywhere where you are being judged as a loser, let's release on that as well. And sometimes we live with people who continuously judge us as failures. Okay, so it could be parents who judge us as failures. It could also be partners. Okay, so so all the everywhere where you have been judged as a failure and where all of that is locked into your body, let's release on that. Now check, what does the word failure bring up for you? Has the charge around it gone, or do you still have charge around the word failure? So look at now look at something that you have quote unquote judged as failure. So, what if it was not failure? Okay. What if it was just, giving you information of what works or what doesn't work? Okay. So, everywhere where you are looking at things as a failure instead of looking at what works and what doesn't work, let's release on that. And then, when you look at the situation and you look at things that don't work, and if you have no point of view around those things that don't work, what starts to occur is that you will have awareness about, what other things can work there. Okay. So everything within you and outside of you that doesn't allow you to have awareness of what is going to work here, let's release on that. The other thing is that, many times we have these creative ideas, and we actually take action on them and they don't seem to be working. That's because maybe it's not yet time for that idea, because the awareness that we get, it is circular awareness. So it's never about now, it can be about past, present, or future. So when you get ideas, if you can just ask the idea, is now the time, then you will realize that, if it is time for you to take action on any idea or not. And if you get a yes and you take action on that idea, that's when, that idea will start to work. Okay. So many times we end up taking action on ideas whose time has not yet come, and then we quote unquote don't really succeed at them, or we fail at them. So all the ideas that you have taken action on whose time has not yet come, let's release on that as well. And everything within you and outside of you that doesn't allow you to get the awareness of ideas whose time has come and on which you have to take action, let's also release on that. Now, when you look at something that isn't really working, and if you keep exploring it, it becomes a source of great information for you. It gives you a lot of information. Okay. And so, for example, if it is your business, for example, and you are doing a particular business activity in one way and it is not working, instead of going, this is not working and this is hopeless, it's never going to work. What if you were to go into, I wonder what can work here? Go to the space of wonder and start asking, I wonder what can work here. And literally what will start to happen is you will start getting awarenesses of different things that you can actually do there. Okay. And just having that one point of view of, I wonder what can work here, instead of, nothing's going to work here. Okay. And as you start approaching, or as you start looking at things that are not working from this space of, I wonder what can work here, what starts to happen is so many different avenues start opening up for you, and you start getting so much information about so many different things. Okay. So looking at something that is not working and going, okay, so this is not working, I wonder what can work here, will also give you a lot of information. Okay. And so what happens is that then the failure becomes just a stepping stone for you to explore that, to explore those things that are not working, and to start reaching for things that could actually work for you. Okay. So everything within you and outside of you that doesn't allow you to access things that will work for you, let's release on that. The other thing what occurs is that you get into this habit of failure. So you keep creating failure in your life over and over again. So everywhere you have the habit of failure, let's release on that. And it's not like you will deliberately go and choose a habit of failure. It's just that you it's just some point of view which is stuck in your psyche. Okay. So everywhere you are prone to failure, everywhere you are in a habit of failure, everywhere you have programs and patterns of failure, let's release on all that as well. Now, what I'd like you to do is look at something in your life that is not working right now, which you are kind of judging as failure. Look at that one thing, and then I want to, flip it over to look at it from a different perspective. Okay. So everywhere you are judging that thing as failure, let's release on that. Now, if you were not to if you were not to call it as a failure, what would it be? So everything that is, let's release on that as well. And now, also when you look at some things, you kind of are looking at, maybe you're judging it as a failure when it isn't. So everywhere you are judging things as a failure when they are not, let's release on that. The other thing what happens is that we have expectations about things. Okay. And because of our expectations about things, what occurs is that because of those expectations, we only look at that thing through the lens of expectations. And when whatever is showing up doesn't match our expectations, we judge it as failure. Okay. So everywhere you have expectations which make you judge everything as a failure, let's release on that. And everywhere your expectations are keeping you stuck in judgment, let's release on that. And everywhere you are stuck in your expectations instead of being present with what is, let's also release on that. Now, what I'd like you to do is that particular area that you were looking at, which kind of you think is not working. Now, if, that area was completely working, or if there was total success with that area, what would that be like? I'd like you to contemplate that. So someone is saying, my business is not working. So if your business was working, was really successful, was wildly successful, what would that be like? So I'd like you to just bring that to your awareness. What would it be like to have, complete success, or wild success, or phenomenal success in that particular area of your life? Okay. And when you think of that success, can you receive that success? Because most of the time, when I ask people this question, can you actually receive that success that you are asking for? So most people, they just cannot receive that success because it feels too foreign to them. It feels like, but how am I going to have that? So most people get stuck into that thing of how is that going to happen. So everywhere you are stuck in the how is that success going to happen, let's release on that. And everywhere where having everything within you and outside of you that stops you from having that success, let's release on that. So, asking for something does not mean that you have expectations. There's a difference between asking for something and expecting something. So, expectation is more like having an attachment to having it. So, expectation is more like having an attachment to that result. But just asking for something could be just like a fun playful kind of a thing. Oh, I'd love to have that. Oh, I'd love to go on a holiday to this place or that place, something like that. So can you make out the difference between an ask and an expectation? And right now we're just playing with, what would it be like to have that phenomenal success or that wild kind of success. Okay. So again, think about having that phenomenal success. And now check if you are willing to receive it. And what I mean by if you're willing to receive it is, does it feel probable or possible to receive that success, or does it still feel like no, it's really far away from me? Let me know in the comments. So everything within you and outside of you that feels that that success is still far away from you, let's release on that. Okay, possible. Yes, possible. Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. So, um, everything within you and outside of you that uh, is not willing to allow that success in 100%, let's release on that. Hi, Manjari. So, how many of you would like to be success magnets? So, everything within you and outside of you that doesn't allow you to be a success magnet, Let's release on that. And everything within you and outside of you that blocks you from being a success magnet, let's release on that. So I'm just going to close with one particular thing. So remaining in failure is safe and familiar, because we are so used to failure that it just feels really safe and familiar to us. And so what happens is we keep creating something which is safe and familiar. So I'm going to release on that. So remaining in failure is safe and familiar. And remaining in success is unsafe and unfamiliar, because when you start having more and more success, it feels unsafe and unfamiliar. And when something feels unsafe and unfamiliar, you will sabotage it. Okay, so let's release on that. So remaining in success is unsafe and unfamiliar. So remaining with fear of failure is safe and familiar. And remaining free from fear of failure is unsafe and unfamiliar. Okay, how does that feel to you? Let me also run one on fear of success. So remaining with fear of success is safe and familiar. And remaining free from fear of success is unsafe and unfamiliar. So, thanks everyone for hanging out with me today. Whether you're watching the replay or watching the live, I really, really appreciate you. And I will be live once again, same time next week. And if you have any suggestions for topics for me, feel free to share it in the comments. And I'll look for things that pop, and definitely, I'll play around with you some more. I just wanted to invite you to a free 5-day challenge that I'm doing. It's called 5 Days of Money Transformation. And there have been about 100 plus people who've taken the challenge so far, and I'm getting some rave reviews about it. It's absolutely free. The link is in the description. So please join in. You can join in anytime. From the day that you sign up, you will get access to the challenge for 10 days. So I'd love to have you, and let's see what we can change with your monetary reality. Thank you once again for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week, same time. Bye.